Hey, what's up, everybody? Trey Griggs here, Beta Consulting Group. And we're doing a first today. I'm doing a podcast from my car. I'm on my way to Walcott, Iowa, to the Iowa 80 truck stop, one of the most famous truck stops in America, for the Walcott Truckers Jamboree. So we're going to have a great time here in just a little bit when I get there. But I wanted to pause and go ahead and have our podcast. As they say, the show must go on. Jeff Dickinson, what's up, man? How you doing, man? Glad to see you today. The show. We've got an awesome show for you today. Can't wait to bring on my good friend Chris Horton here in just a minute. We're going to talk about his journey to Beta Consulting Group and what we're focused on, what we're doing. But before we do that, a couple of things I want to tell you. Number one, we've got our 100th episode coming up next Wednesday. I cannot wait for that. It's going to be so exciting. My good friend Charlie Safra is going to be joining me. We're going to be talking about this podcast and about just a lot of things in the industry, a lot of fun things in the show. So that's going to be great. Can't wait for that. And so make sure you come back on Wednesday for that. Also, if you would, check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. See what we can do to help you out in terms of your content creation, things like that.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, I'm still here. Why don't we bring Chris Horton onto the show real quick? Maybe he can run it in case something's not going well.
Mira, se está prendido.
Let's get Chris in here. Chris, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah. How you doing?
Cool. We're just going to run with it this way today. Again, when we're doing it from a car, you never know what's going to happen with that. But while we're here, and if you can hear me okay, give me a thumbs up. Everybody, check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. Super excited about what we're doing over there to help companies tell their stories, build their brands, that type of thing. Also, while you're there, check out our swag store. We got a swag shop we're super excited about. It's our grand opening here in July. Chris, we've been creating some of these designs, having a little fun with this. It's been a lot of fun to put this together, but we're all about creating a community of people that are trying to pursue excellence. And we want you to grab some swag, grab a water bottle, got the old standing out water bottle, got some cool stuff on the store. And because it's our grand opening, you can use coupon code beta-GO for 30% off your entire order. So check that out. We appreciate that. And then lastly, before Chris and I start chatting, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, to TAPS. These are the good guys in freight factoring. They're helping drivers keep those wheels moving. I can't wait to talk to drivers today, learn more about what's going on out in the industry. That's going to be awesome. So it's going to be a great time up in Walcott, Iowa. Chris, what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
I am doing great. How about you? How's the drive been?
The drive's been great. I actually planned to get away from the house this morning at 4 a.m. so that I wouldn't be, here, in the car on the drive. But of course, my alarm did not go off. I'm not sure what I did, if I totally messed it up, so it didn't go off. So I didn't leave till 6:15. I thought, I wonder how we're going to do the podcast today. Well, this is how we're doing the podcast today.
Perfect.
We are going live from the truck stop. We got the truck behind us. Look at this. It works out.
You do what you got to do. Sometimes I set an alarm and I accidentally set it for PM instead of AM. So I feel you there. It happens.
It happens. This is one of my favorite things too about going live, is that you just never know what's going to happen. So we got a little noise from our producer today in the show. It's all a part of the process, right? Of us getting better and improving and every day. And so this is the first coming to you live from a car, but it's a lot of fun. So all good. So Chris, some people have gotten to know you a little bit. You were on the podcast probably. Which episode was that on? Do you remember? Like around 50 or something, 40 or 50?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was a while ago. I think it was back in May. It might've been like the first or second week of May. And then I hosted one maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
May 31st when I went to play in the Monday qualifier for Missouri Amber. That's right. Yeah. Exactly. So it was probably like episode like 40 or something like that. So it's been a little while since you've been on the show. But what's cool about it is I wanted to take this time and have you on again, because I wanted for people to hear about your journey into transportation. You've now had about 3 or 4 months in the industry, first time in the industry, also with our company, also with, why you chose to come work with Beta. There's just a lot to break down. I figured it'd be fun to talk about and have you back on the show. So appreciate you being on, man. So for some of those people that don't know, say a little bit about yourself. And Jeff Dickinson, thanks, man. Of course, the show goes on, man. I had to pull over, had to do the show. So Chris, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So, I've got kind of a diverse work background. I've been in sales and customer service roles before for several years. I spent some time in ministry. So a lot of working closely with people, which is really, that's what sales and marketing is really all about. It's about connecting with people. It's about telling stories, and that's one thing that I love about the idea of branding and marketing. It's telling the story of a company. It's not just talking about products. It's not just talking about services. Any product or service that you can offer, 100 other people offer the same thing. And it's pretty much guaranteed that some of them are going to do it better than you, which is okay. We all want to continue to improve and get better and things like that. But it's been a journey for me, really, of finding a sense of freedom in my job, a sense of freedom in my work that I've never really felt before, that I've never really had, because I've always been working for other people and not really working for myself. And so some of that is like a mental thing, right? It's a mindset shift, but it was a process of overcoming fear, of kind of stepping out of my comfort zone and trying something new, facing new challenges, setting new goals. All of those things play into this journey that I'm on. But that's really the exciting thing, right? It's trying something new. It's pushing yourself past what you can do, to try and achieve something you think you can do. And that's a process. Like it's a difficult process sometimes, but it's fun, and I'm enjoying it.
It's exciting. And I remember when we first started talking, and I was kind of sharing this idea of, hey, here's what we're doing. And I remember thinking to myself, there's no way this guy's going to say yes. There's no way this guy's going to come on board with us. And yet you did. And man, I was telling you this morning, I'm so thankful to have you on our team. I feel like you make us 10 times better just having you here, and what you bring to the table, your ability to create and to think about that, your love for process just makes us so much better. And it's just been an absolute pleasure working with you. And when you first came on board, I had this kind of like this vision, or maybe this revelation, that when I bring people into what we're doing at Beta Consulting Group, that it is not about building my dream or building what I want for Beta Consulting Group. Like, it has to be about building what you want. That every player on our team needs to start building their dream today. And hopefully that can happen under the umbrella of Beta Consulting Group and what we're doing here. But if at any point it's not, you should go do it. You should go do what's going to build your dream. And I want to support that. And I'm excited that, you're starting to really see the value of that, of making your own choices and figuring things out, like building your dream. And I want everybody on Beta, Consulting Group on our team to have that feeling of like, I can start building my dream. I can start putting together what I want in my life. And I think that's really special. I hope it's really special, and I can't wait to see, kind of where this goes and what we build.
Oh, I definitely think it's special. I think it's rare. And this is not to criticize anybody or anything specific, but the truth is that's a rare quality. Most bosses don't think that way. Most people who run companies don't necessarily think that way. And connecting, with a new generation of people in a digital age, generations have different mindsets, and flexibility is a big thing, and being able to work from home. I'm in my basement at my desk, sitting in front of my bar, the flexibility to go handle things with my daughter. I have a 3-year-old daughter. When you put a 3-year-old in daycare, things are going to happen. You're going to have to go pick her up sometimes, and you're going to have to go take her to doctor's appointments, and you're going to have to, do all of these things. And, it's just a different thing. And so being in business to help others succeed is really important. I mean, they talk about it in sales trainings and sales books and webinars all the time. You have to actually care about your client's success. If you don't care about your client's success, you are not going to be successful. And
not in the long run.
No, not in the long run at all. And the truth is, if you are an employer and you don't care about your employees' success, not just in the business, but in their life, you're going to create a culture that no one wants to be a part of long term. You are going to have turnover like crazy. And people are just not going to appreciate the goals that you have. And they're not, I put this on LinkedIn a few weeks ago. If you're not willing to help others achieve what they want to achieve, no one's going to help you achieve your goals. And
Right.
so, if that's not your mindset in every area of your life, I think you're missing the boat a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's hugely important. And, I think too, there's a couple things. There's so much I want to unpack there. Going back to the freedom of it, sometimes you don't realize kind of the subconscious like wiring maybe that you get as a kid. But my dad was an independent contractor. He, instead of becoming an employee of a company, he was an independent contractor so that he could, oh gosh, am I still with you? My phone's
You're
overheating.
you're here. We just
Okay,
can't see
good,
you.
good, good. All right, cool. Let me see if I can get this back. This is just how it goes. I'm gonna have to
There you
put
go.
I'll put a cover up. Oh, you know what? This is what happens when you go live, folks. You just figure things out. I got a pillow right here. I'm gonna shove this up in the window and it's gonna create shade for my phone. Listen, this is what happens, folks. You just figure it out in life. It's a step at a time. That's how it goes. So we got less sun coming in the car, but now we got shade for the phone, so it's all good. But thinking back to my dad, he chose to be an independent contractor instead of an employee for the very reasons you just said. He
Mhm.
never wanted to miss a baseball game or practice. He wanted to be able to come and pick me up from school. He was a single dad. He wanted to be able to come and pick me up from school if I was sick or if something happened. He wanted to be able to make those choices on his own and have freedom, in his life. And I don't think that one, we value freedom enough, but two, I don't think that we also value other people's freedom
Mhm.
enough. And that's what I want is I want you and everybody on our team to really have freedom in their life to create what they want to create. Obviously, we have goals. Everybody has a job description of what they're doing, but I want them to have that freedom, to live their life to the fullest and to really dream. And here's what I think is powerful about that. I've told every one of you, hey, I want to help you build your dream. Tell me what it is, and let's go after it.
Yeah.
And again, that dream might happen, working with Beta Consulting Group. It might mean someday that you need to go do your own thing or go work for someone else. I want you to know that that's okay. And here's why.
Yeah.
If you know it's okay, there's a good chance you're going to tell me your plans ahead of time, which does two things. One, it truly helps me get you there to
Mhm.
do what I can to get you there. But two, it lets me know that maybe I need to start looking for somebody to potentially backfill. Like it gives me opportunity to not have that situation where you just say, "Hey, I'm leaving in 2 weeks," and now I'm out on a lark. Like it's a win-win when you
Right.
create this environment where people are honest about that, and I think that's really really important.
It absolutely is, and there has to be a genuine relationship outside of the work relationship. And I'm not saying like you got to be best friends with everybody you work with, but again, a genuine level of care for the person, for their family, for what they want to achieve in their life. And part of that is like people need to define what that freedom is for themselves. I mean, like money's going to be a part of it, sure. Enjoying your job is going to be a part of it, sure. But for me, I'm not necessarily driven by money, but I am achievement driven. Like seeing the results of my work is an achievement. This is a silly example, but you cut the grass, you can see the results of the work that you
Immediately, that's right.
right.
You see those
There's
good-looking
there's
lines and the
right.
trimmed edges and
There
all that.
there's an immediate satisfaction to it. So I hate cutting the grass, but I love how my yard looks when I'm done.
Yeah,
And so
right.
it's that kind of thing for me. And working for the church when I was in ministry, like uh there's no results
It's very hard to see it.
from your work. Now it's good work. Nonprofit work is incredible. I spent 13 years of my life doing it. But
It is hard to see
again,
it though. Yeah.
it is hard to see it, and learning that about myself over time and kind of reaching a point in my life. My wife and I had conversations for months about what I want to do, and ultimately I've always had a goal of wanting to work for myself. Like I just want to be my own employer. I don't want a boss. I want to build a business for myself. That's my own. And figuring out what that is along the way. Like right now it's this. Right now it's working with you, and the first step
Watching all my
was
mistakes and seeing things happen.
exactly like, wow, Trey messed that up. Like that was terrible. No, I'm kidding. No, but connecting with someone who's 5 steps ahead of you is a great thing. It's a great
Yeah.
thing. And okay, like, yes, I did do this. I would have done it this way because when I did it, this is what I learned. Like that's incredibly valuable. So always having someone in front of you that you're connected to, and always having someone who's a few steps behind you that you're connected to. Like, it's always a goal of mine to have myself in that position and be ready to help the next guy, the next girl, like work towards achieving what they want to achieve the way that I'm working towards achieving what I want to achieve.
Yeah, no, it's so good to have that. And not only that, but like the ability that you don't have to go it alone. Like you want to build your own thing and you're already thinking about things. And I know, with your LLC and with what you're doing, you're already thinking about stuff, which is so cool, but you don't have to necessarily go alone. There's some things that you might want to do with your company that go well with what we do, and vice versa. And so there's just so many opportunities. And I think it's just so good when that's the mentality that you have. And it's one of the reasons I love working with you, because, you're open to being coached, but you also have great ideas. So I'm learning so many good things as well. Like I didn't even think about that, because nobody knows everything. You can't possibly know everything. So I didn't think about that. Oh, Chris said that. That's actually a really good idea. Let's act on that. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And so we're just so much better together. I know it's kind of cliche-ish, but it's true.
No,
right?
it's true, man. And like even your work with the shows, with the podcast, letting me hop in and learn how to produce this thing, how to run a platform like StreamYard, even learning that platforms like this exist, learning, the value and the power behind live content, be it, sometimes internet connections get interrupted and cameras go dark and, someone gets kicked
Alarms
out
don't go off. It's
or
crazy.
whatever. Like, but it's so real and it's so good.
Yeah.
And I've been working on developing my own podcast, and I've actually got another one in the works with an organization that I've been doing work with and ran for a long time, the Worship Cohort. The guy who started it, one of my best friends, and I are now developing a Worship Cohort podcast that's going to launch
I love it.
relatively soon. So we're going to do that. I'm going to launch my own podcast talking about what we're talking about right now. So this is a shameless plug if you're watching this, but this idea of what's next and being willing to take the next step and define what freedom in your life you want to achieve, what goals you want to set and you want to achieve, and figuring out what it means to take the next step. Like, I'm going to talk about that, and not from the perspective of someone who knows everything and has it all together, but the perspective of someone who wants to learn. So I'm just going to be talking to people who I can learn from. And hopefully it's an encouraging conversation. It's a conversation that people want to be a part of. And there's things in there that we can all learn.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to start that and to announce it. That's going to be so exciting. Maybe I can get a guest appearance at some point, because I do lead worship as well. So, that'd be fun. But I'm excited about that. Like getting to watch you blossom and do those kind of things. And so, do you have a name, by the way? Do you have a name yet for the podcast?
So it's going to be the What's Next podcast.
Oh, I love it. The What's Next podcast. So everybody that's watching this or watches this on demand, make sure you look for the What's Next podcast out there and follow Chris. I can imagine that the content's only going to be just tremendous. So really excited about that. So even get Shane and Charlie Hall in there again, or somebody like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We did interviews with Shane and Charlie Hall and Laura Story and Phil Wickham and
so cool. I know.
all sorts of artists. So, but
a lot of big things.
So the cohort podcast is one. What's next is something else. What's next is
nice.
Is just going to be mine. So we're doing both.
Nice.
We're doing both.
Nice. I love it. I can't wait. I think something you said is really important though, and that is take the next step. A lot of times we have visions, we have dreams. I think I want to do this. Some people may have a dream right now that they want to start their own business or start a hobby or start doing something. And you just got to be willing to take that first next step, whatever that one next step is. I mean, we talked about creating a swag store, 2 months ago?
Yep.
And it was kind of an idea that came out of somebody said, hey, I need to see your face on a t-shirt. And I kept thinking, nobody's going to wear a t-shirt with my face on it. That's stupid. Who's going to do that? But I own a t-shirt that has Matt Leffler's face on it. So maybe that's proof that people will do that. So we started talking about,
branding matters.
Merch. Branding matters. Look at that, Matt Leffler.
Here
shout
you go.
out.
Armchair attorney. I got you right here, buddy.
With I love it. But it's like you think about that, and it started to match with our vision. Our vision is to create a community, and that community is satisfied or successful team members, strategic partners, and satisfied clients that are all pursuing excellence daily. And so it matches with what we're trying to do. But it was like, okay, what's the next step? Well, we researched some platforms. We kind of looked around at what would work. We debated a few things, and then it got to a point where I was like, okay, we need to do this. And you're like, okay, you said, okay, do it.
Right.
I remember you said, do it. And so over a weekend, I built a swag store, and it was like, okay, just keep taking those next steps and see where it goes. I have no idea how successful it's going to be. I hope people
Right.
pick something up because we got some great stuff there just to remind you to be excellent, to finish strong Friday, all those good stuff, iron sharpens iron, as well as stuff with my face on it. Enjoy that for all it's worth, just stuff with me and my face on it, whatever.
Hey,
But
that's the only hair that I can get is the picture of your hair. So works
that's
for
right,
me.
so enjoy that. But it's like it just fit with the vision. But the point was, let's just take the next step and let's see what
Yep.
happens. And who knows where that's going to go. That might morph into more things. We talked about providing a true network, and working towards that. There's all these ideas. I think it's so critical just to take that next step and not be afraid to do that.
And an interesting part of that is the idea of like analyzing and processing what that step is. Like some people have a tendency towards like analysis paralysis, right? Like they think themselves out of an idea. They think themselves out of action. And I've been guilty of that in the past as well, but that doesn't mean that you don't plan. That doesn't mean that you're not prepared. It doesn't mean that you don't give yourself plenty of time to strategize and in a wise way take the next step. But it also doesn't mean that you talk yourself out of it. It's really easy to slip into either I'm just gung-ho, I'm going to start talking about these things before I should, or I'm going to like start stepping before I should. I'm not quite ready for that. Versus I'm going to talk myself out of an idea before I do it. And those are both just kind of it's a thin line to walk, right? Like it's not an easy road to start your own thing or to step out of your comfort zone to try something new.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think about just like the value of just being willing to take that next step, and that next step might be the planning phase, might be doing that. But I firmly believe that these visions that we have, these dreams that we get, are gifts from God. They're ideas to create, because that's who He is. He's a creator. We're never more like Him than when we're creating. And that's why when people wonder, why do I want to create this? Why do I want to build this? Why do I want to do that? It's because we're made in the image of God. That's who we are. We're creators. We're meant to create and cultivate. And so my encouragement is, man, when you get a dream, it doesn't mean it has to happen today. It also doesn't mean that it doesn't get to happen at all. Like you can work on it. It's a process, but just don't be afraid to take that next step and see where it goes. And I think about this, starting this company was scary. It was scary. Is it going to work? Is anybody going to want to work with us to do that? And the people that I've met, the clients that we have, the prospects we have, the sponsors that we have, and the people that want to come and work with us, I probably never would have met any of them, honestly, if I hadn't started this company. You just never know what's going to come out of what you're doing. So taking the next step might lead to something that you can't even see, but that would never happen if you don't take the step, Right. So that's my encouragement to everybody.
I have a question. How long were you thinking about the idea of a company before you actually took the step and started?
Yeah, years. Let me give you the breakdown real quick, because this is a good kind of story of like, kind of a don't give up story for some people out there. I started thinking about my own business, my own company, probably around 2016 or 17. And I actually started a company called Beta Homes, and we remodeled homes. We remodeled two homes, and then realized that it really wasn't what we wanted to do. So we tried it. We were successful. We didn't lose any money, but it just wasn't what we wanted to do. So we shut that down with a couple friends of mine. And then I kept thinking about doing my own thing. So in 2019, I started my own consult. I started this LLC actually. This LLC started in 2019. So think about that. I did the work of starting the business with the intention that maybe I'd go out on my own. And then in 2020, I did go out on my own for a little bit, but it was still scary. Like it was almost like, imagine if you're about to walk across a bridge that's shaky, right? Like you don't know if it's really going to support you. For a long time, I was just looking at it. And then I bought the ticket. I made the LLC. I bought the ticket. I'm going to walk across it. Mm-hmm. And then in 2020, I took a step just to kind of see what it was like. And it was still scary. And then I went and I worked for Lean Solutions for another company. But I took that kind of first step to see what it felt like. And that first step actually gave me confidence in 2022 to start it, because that first step actually wasn't as scary as I thought, but I still wasn't quite ready to cross the bridge. in 2022, I was ready to start walking across that bridge, and that's what I did. So for me, it was multiple years in the making to think about this, and it really crystallized in the fall of 2021. That's when it really started to crystallize these ideas in my head of this might work. I might be able to do this. And then January 15th, it worked out to start. That was my start date, and it worked out really well. 16th, something like that. That it came together. So it wasn't immediate. It wasn't right away. I've done, like you said, I've overthought things from time to time. I've also rushed into things from time to time, and it's kind of like figuring it out and going through the process. That's how that came about.
Yeah, that's good, man. Because I've thought about my own thing for years as well, and the truth is I had no idea what it was going to be. I didn't know. I didn't know if it was going to be in sales. I didn't know if it was going to be in consulting. I didn't know if it was going to be in the church world or the transportation industry or the finance industry or the insurance industry. I had no idea. People, what do you want to be when you grow up? People ask that question all the time. I'm like, I don't know. I know I want to work for myself. But the truth is, I think opportunities get put in front of us for a reason. We have the opportunity to meet people and have conversations and hear what they're doing. And like I said, connect with people who are a few steps ahead of us in the process, learn about industries, learn about opportunities, and figure out if we fit, if they fit us, if it makes sense. And looking at trucking and transportation, the truth is, from what I've seen, just reading, scouring the internet, looking across social media, learning about companies, learning about the industry, and then learning about branding and marketing the way that I have, I don't see a lot of companies taking advantage of the idea of building a brand. A lot of companies market products and market services and don't pay as much attention to their own story. What their employees are doing, what their community involvement is, what their mission, vision, and values are, and using that as a foundation for online content that tells their story. And I'm like, I think there's a really good opportunity here because there is power in telling your story. Everyone has a voice, everyone has a story, and everyone's story matters. People do business with who they know and who they trust. And part of making yourself known and building trust and credibility is telling your story and building your brand, putting your brand on display. I put this quote on LinkedIn the other day. A guy named David Breyer says, if you don't give the market the story to talk about, they will define your brand story for you. And that's really, really true. And I think it's a dangerous game to play, to not control your own narrative and pair your mission, vision, and values with your products and services that you offer and give people more of a reason to work with you. And that's what we're doing at Beta. That's what we're helping companies do. And that's what I'm really excited about doing.
Yeah, it's not an or, right? I mean, it's the product, services, and it's the story. It's the messaging. It's, what do we want to be known for? What are we the best at? What do we do well? How did we get here? What do we value? Like, those things are so critical. There's some companies that do a really good job of that. Some companies in the industry, Freight Vana being one in particular, really does that. Steam Logistics does a good job of that. There's several that do a good job of really defining who they are in the marketplace and the industry, telling their story. But you're right, there's a lot of them that just haven't taken advantage of that, and they're missing out on the benefits that come along with that, which we've talked about. Right. I mean, there's several benefits that they're missing out on, and you listed some of them this morning. We were talking.
Well, that's the competitive advantage, right? In an industry where it's largely
commoditized.
Very
similar.
And this process that we're talking about of building your brand and telling your story is not super common. That is your competitive advantage. Everybody's looking for a competitive advantage, right? Like, what makes you different than the broker down the road or the carrier down the road or whatever? Your story is what makes you different. Your values is what makes you different. Your involvement in the community, the way you treat your employees, and one of the untalked about, untapped benefits of building your brand and building your story and putting your culture on display is talent recruitment and retention. You will attract talented, quality people to work for your company if you do a good job of building your brand and telling your story. And so I'm like, you want the competitive advantage? You are your own competitive advantage. Don't work against yourself. Work for yourself.
Right. Other companies can buy trucks, they can buy software, they can do those things, but who are they as people? What do they value? I mean, if you have great customer service, but nobody knows about it, man, you're missing out. Like, tell that story.
Right.
You know, have your customers tell that story, you know, of why they work with you and why they continue to work with you. There's just so much. And I know we're running up against time here. So those that are watching, I appreciate you guys watching. But man, there's just so much that more that we can talk about. Let me just say this, Chris. I am so like ecstatically elated that you were on our team, you and all the rest of our team, because man, it's a lot of fun. And here's something else that I would say too is, just because you want to build your own thing, you want to work for yourself, doesn't mean you have to work alone. You can work with people and partner with great people. In fact, that's all we talk about is who else do we want to partner with in this thing? Because it doesn't mean that they have to necessarily work for Beta Consulting Group or vice versa. We can do things together and still work for ourselves, and that's so powerful. And I love that we're building that culture here and that we're doing that here, where people can build their dream today and help, you know, build Beta Consulting at the same time. It's a win-win, and I absolutely love it. So thank you. Thank you for being a part of our team, man.
Absolutely. And quick shout out to Ruth for commenting, and my lovely wife, Beth, for commenting, and Mr.
Beth
Gunnar
Horton
Miller
in the
for
house.
Commenting. Hey-o.
Yeah. Hey, Gunner's tomorrow, by the way. So everybody make sure you come back tomorrow for a crazy episode. We're going to have like a virtual wrestling match, I think. I don't know how it's going to go down. We'll see what happens. But Gunner's going to be on the show tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely wild because he's got a crazy story. I mean, this guy does death matches, which are like wrestling stuff. And I don't know all the details. I have no idea, but we're going to find out tomorrow. It's going to be fabulous. And we appreciate everybody being here, supporting what we're doing at Standing Out and the Beta Consulting Group in general. Make sure you come back every day at 10:30 for an episode of Standing Out, a daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership, powered by Beta Consulting Group. And another shout out to our friends over at TAF. So the good guys, click on that link that Morgan has in the comments to go directly to my landing page and get started with them, whether you're a carrier or a freight broker. They'll make a difference in your business. And we appreciate you guys. Yeah, Gunner. See you tomorrow, buddy. Can't wait to see it.
Go.
Everybody have a fabulous day out there. We'll talk to you guys real soon. We'll see you.